Welcome to Spanish from Nothing. I'm Justin Ryan, and this is day 26 in the 28-day challenge, which means we are on Friday, which means this is the last phrase, new phrase, that we're going to be learning. So the last new phrase that we put together on our tables and in our flashcards, at least before we mix and match them. So I'm super excited. This has been a very interesting experience learning as we go. So to celebrate the last day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a phrase that's actually most people will probably consider pretty difficult. And I'm doing this because I want to show you can use this habitat language interaction pattern strategy that I'm using here. It doesn't have to be just a beginner thing. So even if you're at an advanced level, you can use this to help yourself get familiar. Maybe you're having trouble saying a particular phrase or having trouble remembering a particular phrase. This method still applies even at an advanced level. So you have concentrated doses of one phrase, but you use it with several different things. What we've been doing before, this whole week actually, we've been doing where is the, and it's on the desk, it's beside the desk, it's or next to the desk. But today is going to be completely different. If you remember, I mentioned I had a friend coming to visit from out of town. I think I mentioned that in one of the episodes, but he actually came in from Ireland. And so he did a whole bike tour from Vancouver all the way down to Denver, cycling tour, not motorcycle, like actual just bicycle. But he's from Ireland. He came over first time in the U.S., went, cycled to Denver from Vancouver, and then took the train here to where I live and stopped for 24 hours before he headed to Chicago and New York. But anyway, so he came here during like smack dab in the middle of the 28-day challenge, or it might have been at the very beginning. I saved this until last so that we kind of get used to, if you've been following along with the 28-day challenge, you're kind of used to the way we do things before I jump into kind of a difficult phrase. But when he was here, I thought of this phrase. And this phrase is, do you remember when we lived in Korea? And basically, this guy is from Ireland, like I was saying, and his name is Luke. So shout out to Luke if you're watching this, maybe not. But we met in Korea. So actually, we were in a band together in Korea. And you can actually go check out our band if you want. I still have the website. I haven't updated it in forever. It's really, it's just a little blog that I made while I was in Korea. It's called JustinInKorea.com. So Justin in Korea. So there's two INs. So Justin, then IN, Korea, all one word, .com. You can go check that out. That was a few years ago now that I was there. But anyway, I met him there. Great guy. Really fun to hang out with. Met a whole bunch of people from around the world, but we had a very multicultural band. So it was me, who was from America. We had our bass player was Jesse from the UK. Shout out to Jesse. What? And then Suji was our lead singer from Korea. From Korea. She native Korea, amazing singer, amazing English speaker actually too. So English is her second language. You would never know. And then we also had a couple of other drummers. Oh, Luke was the drummer, by the way, for part of the time. We also had some other drummers. Shout out to Sudong and to John. And yeah, so it was just really fun time. Kind of getting on a tangent here, but so when he came back, it was nice to reminisce about things that we did in Korea. And so I thought this would be a good question to practice if you're learning a foreign language. So do you remember when we lived in Korea? So how to say that in Spanish is ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros vivíamos en Corea? Okay, Korea. Now let's break that down. ¿Recuerdas is do you remember? Cuando is when. Nosotros is we. And then lived is vivíamos. Now, this is a particular type of lived in the past. So it's from the verb vivir, to live, and that it's in the past, but it's a specific past tense. There's two past tenses in Spanish, just that, like there is in English. There actually, I think there's a couple of them in English as well. But you don't have to worry about that. But I'm just using a particular type. I don't necessarily know if this type will work with everything that I say here. I think it will in certain circumstances, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm just concerned about getting used to saying the phrase. So the ending is going to be íamos, so vivíamos, íamos, íbamos, and habamos. So those three, íbamos, íbamos, habamos. So you can kind of see a little bit of a pattern there. So, and then en Korea, of course, is in Korea. So do you remember when we lived in Korea? It can also be translated in this particular translation for the past tense could be translated, do you remember when we were living in Korea? So it's kind of like an ongoing thing in the past that doesn't necessarily have a specific end time in my sentence here. So do you remember when we were living in Korea? Do you remember when we were living in Ulsan? Ulsan is the city we lived in, and Ulsan is actually the Hyundai capital of the world. Hyundai is the cars, or Hyundai, or Hyundai, whatever way you want to say it. It's actually a Korean word. It's pronounced Hyundai. So if you want to know where their cars come from, it's Ulsan, Korea. So that's ULSAN. Anyway, do you remember when we were going to the beach? Do you remember when we were going to festivals? Do you remember when we were teaching English? Because that's why we were in Korea. Do you remember when we were playing in a band together? Do you remember when we were hanging out with friends together, or hanging out with friends? Do you remember when we were shopping at Lotte Mart? Lotte Mart, if you've been to Korea, you know it's a very huge department store shopping chain kind of thing. Do you remember when we were teaching at summer camps, which we had to do summer and winter, actually? And then, do you remember when we were singing at Noribangs? And Noribangs are just like karaoke rooms that you go with your friends and you sing karaoke. So that's what I'm going to do. The way I've written it on my flashcards is on the side one, I have vivir, the verb, the action, to live, in its infinitive, in its original form, to live, and then a dot followed by Korea. So vivir, to live, and then Korea. And then I have to think of the full sentence. Do you remember when we were living in Korea? So all that from just those two words. So that's why it's a little bit more of a, I don't want to say difficult, but it's a longer sentence to try to learn. But anyway, here we go. We're going to try this. Vivir en Korea. ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros? Do you remember when we? ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros vivíamos en Korea? Okay, and then I check my answer. Yes, that's right. Next one. Vivir Ulsan. ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros vivíamos en Ulsan? Yes, that's right. Next one. Ir and playa. Ir is to go, and playa is beach. So, what should I say? ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros vivíamos? No, not live. We didn't live at the beach, unfortunately. Some people did, actually, if you lived very close to the beach. But ir to go. Do you remember when we were going to the beach, or we went to the beach on a regular basis? ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros íbamos a la playa? Íbamos a la playa. Ir festivales. To go. Festivals. Do you remember when we were going to festivals? Or do you remember when we used to go to the festivals? Used to go is another translation. We remember when we used to do this. And that's kind of the idea here. ¿Recuerdas cuando íbamos a los festivales? Maybe just a festivales. Could be a los festivales, a festivales. Either or. The general sentence is the same. Okay, next one, enseñar and inglés. Enseñar means to teach, and inglés is English. So, ¿recuerdas cuando nosotros enseñábamos en inglés? So, enseñar, okay, I'm taking off the R or the AR, and then I'm adding ábamos. Okay, so same thing, íbamos. If you have something with an IR, like vivir, it ends in íbamos. Okay, so tocar and una banda. Tocar is to play, and then una banda is in a band or a band. So, ¿recuerdas cuando tocábamos? We, ábamos is we play. So, and actually, I need to say that too. I don't have to say it, but I think I want to practice nosotros. So, nosotros is we. I don't know if I said that. Oh, I didn't say that in this last one. So, let's go back here. Let's do this again. ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros enseñábamos inglés? Do you remember when we were playing, when we were teaching English, or when we used to teach English? Now you can use nosotros. Nosotros enseñábamos. We were teaching. You can use nosotros. You can also leave it out, I believe. So you don't necessarily have to say we specifically, nosotros. You can just say enseñábamos because ábamos is we, includes that we in there. But it doesn't matter. Just saying, don't think about it too hard. Just nosotros enseñábamos is fine. Tocar una banda. ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros tocábamos en una banda? Do you remember when we used to play in a band? Salir amigos, to go out with friends. ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros salíamos con amigos? Con amigos is friends. Salíamos. Next one, ir de compras. Ir de compras. Go. Ir de compras. What is that one? Ir de compras. Oh, to go shopping. So this one is, ¿recuerdas cuando nosotros íbamos de compras a Lotte Mart? A is at, so a Lotte Mart, at Lotte Mart. ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros íbamos de compras a Lotte Mart? Next one, enseñar. Campamentos. So enseñar is again to teach, and then campamentos is camps. So like summer camps or winter camps. ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros enseñábamos a los campamentos de verano? So it's a lot to say. Remember when we used to teach at summer camps? Let's say that one more time. ¿Recuerdas cuando nosotros enseñábamos a campamentos de verano? Okay, so now if I'm going a little too fast, that's okay. You can go slow. You don't have to go as fast as I am. I've already been practicing these, off and on because I made them ahead of time for this week. Just kind of go at your own pace. Next one, cantar. Cantar and then norebangs. Last one, cantar is to sing, and norebangs are the karaoke places. So, ¿recuerdas cuando nosotros cantábamos? Because remember, AR ends in AR. Cantábamos a los norebangs. A los norebangs, or a norebangs. And norebangs, I just made that up. As far as the Spanish word, it's actually norebang. You would say that actually the same way in Korea. But I think if I were to transliterate that into Spanish, it would sound the same. So, norebang, that's what it's called. Here's all my phrases. We've got four of these. Is this all? No. I was going to say I didn't use all. Because the first 2 weeks are in one, and then I split up the second 2 weeks here. So, look how easy this is to just take with me. I mean, this is all 28 days, or however many phrases that we did. What is that? 5 times 4, so 20 phrases in here. But it's 20 phrases times 10, so each of these phrases has 10 variations. So it's about, what is that, 200? I'm terrible at math in my head. And then let me just remind you also, I pretty much used this as my reference guide. Remember my reference, I just use it to refer to, see what things mean, see how they're put together, see kind of how they're used. And then I went on the internet to search out different variations to make for that concentrated dose of that phrase. So that's kind of what we did. And then again on the weekends, we had our practicing day on Saturday, where we experimented with the phrases. Excuse me, my voice is going. And then we had Sunday as a rest day. So that is it. So we're almost done. We got 2 days left. Sunday, the rest day. This day is going to be, or this weekend is going to be a celebration day. So it's going to be rest day / celebration day. I might do something, special, or not necessarily special, but something different. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, I've talked and ranted long enough. Hope you get the point. I hope you like this. Let me know if this format for the challenges are good. I do want to make future challenges. Please leave me your thoughts, your comments, opinions, likes, dislikes, criticisms. I don't care, as long as you are constructive about it and not throwing insults. I'm totally okay with you disagreeing with kind of my methodology or whatever. Gives me something to think about. So I really appreciate it, and hope to hear from you. So we'll see ya.